Okay, let's hear it for 1971. One of the best years, the year that I was born. I'm sure other good things happened in 1971. I don't know them off the top of my head. For me, they weren't that memorable. I didn't have anything in mind for 1971, so I had to do some cruising through some of my favorites and see what was out there. Second place was probably Performance of My Way by Frank Sinatra.
For what is a man? What has he got?
I also watched some Neil Diamond. There was some store I was in last week. I think it might have been Party City, which is going out of business. I was getting some birthday party decorations. And the Muzak version of Sweet Caroline came on. We heard somebody back in some other part of the store, you know, in the bump, bump, bump part, you can't not sing it. Good song, but not my favorite performance of 1971. I was looking for something that sent chills down my spine, and I knew that I found it when I saw this rendition of River Deep, Mountain High by Tina Turner. It's actually by Ike and Tina Turner, but as somebody once famously said, ain't nobody looking at Ike.
And this is Rivers Deep, Mountains High. When I was a little girl, I had a rag doll, only doll I've ever owned. I love you just the way I love that rag doll.
You know, a lot of these kind of top of the pops shows where they would have music groups come on, some of them started off as live, and then they realized that a lot of the performers just weren't as good live. They didn't sound as good as they did on their album, so then they went to like having backing tracks or people miming or things like that. Now there's probably a whole history to that. You can often tell because it sounds like the vocal is really thick, like there are two people singing it. I've watched this a couple times now, and I would bet big money that this is a completely live performance by the band and by Tina Turner. And I don't want to be the old guy, but I don't know which performers today could pull this kind of stuff off. You know, her cardio alone to be able to sing like she sings while she's dancing is something, and her voice is phenomenal. And like the emotion and heart and soul that she puts into these songs, and especially given what everybody knows now about what was going on between her and Ike and the abusiveness of her relationship, man, you're just rooting for her, but she is so special. And it's not like everybody could do this back in 1971, because not everybody could do this in 1971. And I just feel like even fewer people could do this today. Listen to that, man. Is there a better yelling, beautiful bird song that you can imagine than Tina Turner belting out something like this? Oh, there's Ike. They finally showed him. Ah. Back to the real attraction. Anyway, we don't have to watch the whole thing. I will put the link to it below. Fantastic performance of this song. Really, really good. Band is also super tight, and Tina Turner's vocals just give me chills. I like this stuff a lot more than I like, you know, she was a fixture on MTV. Obviously, she's really photogenic, so she made the transition really easily from the 1970s radio to where your face was on TV all the time. No problem for her. So she was a fixture of the 80s pop scene. That really wasn't my cup of tea. Like, I could see her talent, but the music didn't really do a whole heck of a lot for me. One of her most famous moments in the 80s was unfortunate. I think was it at Live Aid?
All right, where's Tina?
So this is 1985. Oh, and of course Mick Jagger has to change his clothes for the second song. So that was really controversial at the time. I can't remember whether it turned out that they had planned that or not. If we can find out what happened there. The troubling moment, Mick Jagger pulled off Tina Turner's skirt on stage during Live Aid. Jagger certainly pushed things to decadent heights, but sometimes his carefree thinking was done with a dangerous lack of consideration that became troublesome. That was certainly the case when he invited Tina Turner to join him and the Rolling Stones on stage during their Live Aid performance in Philadelphia on July 13th, 1985. Recalling the incident in her memoir and how the plan was thrust upon her backstage, Tina wrote, Mick and I could never just stand there and sing. That wasn't us. We had to do something. He looked me over. I was wearing a tight-fitting black leather top and skirt, and I could see the naughty idea forming. Does that skirt come off? He asked slyly. What? Was my startled reply. Then, rather troublingly, Jagger announced his plan as a matter of fact. I'm going to take your skirt off. I asked him why, but it was too late to talk it through. Mick had already made his mind up to do it, she adds. Understandably, I was a little nervous. Luckily, I was prepared. If my skirt came off, there was nothing to see but a costume under a costume. I was covered, I reassured myself. The rock and roll hijinks may have been magnificent during the duo's scintillating performance, and the audience lapped it up. But there was a troubling undertone to shock the skirting of a woman played out like it was without consent, in Jagger's words, just to create something. Yeah, I agree. If you ask me, in my opinion, Tina Turner probably has more class in her little finger than Mick Jagger and all the rest of the Rolling Stones have in their whole entire bodies.
Some of them say your record is sexist and possibly racist. What do you say about that?
The next one's going to be more racist and more sexist, and it's going to be a whole bunch better.
Whatever. I also have a soft spot for her because of her appearance in the Mad Max movies. She was in Beyond Thunderdome as, what was her name? Auntie something.
And the law says, bust a deal, face the wheel.
She was awesome. That movie sucked. That was the worst of all of them, but she was good. She left music at some point and retired gracefully, which is a bizarre thing for a rock star to do. Died in May of 2023, so not that long ago. Disbanded from being with Ike in 1976 and then launched a comeback in the 1980s. Oh, she was in Tommy. I'd forgotten about that. Beyond Thunderdome 1985. Sold 100 million records worldwide, became one of the best-selling recording artists of all time, 12 Grammys, inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame twice. Turner made a public comeback in February 2008 at the Grammy Awards where she performed alongside Beyonce. I don't remember that. I wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. When you have little kids, a lot of this stuff just flies right under the radar. Sold all of her rights to BMG Music for $50 million, accepting her award via satellite from her home near Zurich, Switzerland. Okay, I might have gotten the... some reason I thought she was in Paris. Anyway, if you would like to see someone doing it up old school, which I would still, again, I hate to sound like the old guy, but the old school is the best school as far as the rock music that the kids like. It's good stuff. Song is great, sends shivers down my spine, and her performances are always on. I've never seen her hit a bum note. So much energy. So check out Tina Turner in 1971. There's other good versions of that song.
Now I love you just the way I love that rag doll.
And there's other songs out there, other performances out there too from the same period. So enjoy. That is my pick for best music video performance of 1971 as far as Andy is concerned. Have a nice evening.